everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're Megan Morgs and today we are going to be exploring Yala National Park. So we have just made our way here from Ella. Took about 2.5 hours on a very bumpy hot bus ride and that cost us $4.50 each. So we have been dropped off literally in the middle of nowhere. We've been talking to our hostel slash guest house that we're staying at, and they wanted us to get off near Wellawaya Junction, so that's where we have pulled up and we're just waiting for them to come and pick us up. But the views are so nice.
Thankfully we were rescued by someone from our hotel shortly after coming to pick us up in the tuk-tuk. We got back to our hotel just in time before a huge deluge of rain. So the last time you saw us, we were stranded on the side of the road, dropped off by the bus, and turns out that it was in the wrong place as well, which wasn't very helpful. But luckily, our accommodation, they sent someone in a tuk-tuk to come and pick us up, which was lovely of them. So we're staying at La Safari Inn. It's known as Tissa. It's a longer name of it, but again, it's one of those words that I won't try and pronounce. I'll just
put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'll show you on Google Maps where we are.
We were recommended this as well by some friends to stay here, who had been here previously. They said the food's really good. It's nice and cheap. We paid $8.
Yeah.
And that also included the tuk-tuk ride as well, so really cheap. And we have arranged a safari for tomorrow through the people working here, so that's really exciting, and hopefully you get to see lots of great animals. Getting picked up at 4:20 in the morning. Yeah. How lovely.
Yeah, so no lions tomorrow, but
maybe some no lions either.
No lions, no lions. But hopefully some leopards. Yeah. That would be nice. That would be nice. Cost-wise, the safari has cost us $50 each, but that includes the $21 national park fee for entry, as well as having breakfast in the park, and then obviously like a guided tour with the driver around the park. So all in all, it's pretty reasonable, really. I
think that's a pretty standard fee for Yala as well, for a half day. So we get picked up at 4:20 and then we'll be back here at 12 midday. But from what I've seen, Yala is obviously one of the more expensive and popular national parks. The reason being you've got a higher chance of seeing leopards, so we weren't too sure whether we would come to Yala or Udawalaway, but our friends who came to Yala said it wasn't too busy, so fingers crossed that's the case.
Yeah, and I think if you're not sort of so bothered about seeing a leopard, or maybe you had sort of like an easier method of transport, you could go to Udawalaway and know that you won't see leopards, but you'll see, you know, a number of great animals, and obviously the wild elephants. Just because we're sort of travelling around on public transport,
it's easier to get the bus here than to Udawalaway. We spent the afternoon playing cards until our dinner was ready, and it was a lot more than we bargained for in terms of spice, but we had a nice selection of different curries and rice for dinner, followed by some ice cream. It is 4:30 in the morning and we are just getting picked up from our accommodation, so we're gonna go head outside. There was a lot of rain in the night last night, so hopefully it's clear today and we get to see some elephants and lots of other animals.
We were picked up just outside our hotel and drove down the country back roads before stopping off to pick up what looked like our breakfast and park entry tickets. Our driver then took us off-road to see some nearby access deer down by a watering hole. He then stopped the Jeep at the Yala National Park entrance, where we queued up for a while, and he explained to us what will be going on our safari trip.
Bear is called sloth bear, so that is the hardest one because it is recorded there are 9 or 10 sloth bear in whole park. The second one is leopards. We believe 25-30 leopards. Now some leopards has cubs, so it's around 35. And third one is elephants. Elephants, actually no one knows how many elephants in Yala Block 1 because there are 5 sectors in Yala. Elephants can walk all the blocks of the park, so there is no pens for each blocks. Usually elephants walk more than 25 kilometers per day. So after gate open, first 20-30 minutes, we try for the leopards.
Okay, so we're just sat in our safari Jeep waiting to enter the park. You have to wait until 6 o'clock to get in, just so that there's enough sunlight for everyone to sort of be safe, I think. But there's a big sort of line of jeeps behind us. I'm not sure if you can see that well, but we're just sort of watching the sunrise and yeah, waiting to get in. Alright, we're in. And it's like Mad Max at the moment. Everybody's... So we're in the Jeep Racing Rally. As we drove deeper into the park and further away from other safari jeeps, the landscape was simply like nothing we'd seen before, with vast expanses of wilderness. Unfortunately, in our first few hours in the park, we didn't manage to spot any leopards, but saw a number of great animals before stopping off for what was a lovely breakfast.
We just had breakfast and now we're going to try and find some elephants.
So we just stopped off at the side of the road.
It's not moving at all.
Trying to be quiet.
Mid-tour, and we have stopped off at this beach for a few minutes, and it's really nice. A bit random, in the middle of a wildlife tour. No leopards yet, but at least we've seen some elephants.
Look at that black cloud behind you as well.
Very ominous.
So we are currently sort of circling this area because earlier today someone saw a leopard sort of walking around in the brush. So we're hoping to see one. We also saw some leopard paw prints on the road. But yeah, no leopards so far.
Unfortunately, we weren't lucky enough to see any leopards, so we headed towards the exit and saw lots of animals on our way out, but we did have a really great morning safari. We thought we'd just sum up our time when we did the Yala Safari and whether we recommend it to you guys or not, if it's something you're unsure about doing or if it's worth the money. It cost us about £42 each, so $50, and we did the morning safari, so we got picked up at 4:30 in the morning, back to our accommodation for about 12:30.
Yeah.
You don't get into the park until, it was just after 6 AM, because that's when the gates open, and then we left about 11:30, so we still had 5.5 hours in the park, and you do get breakfast with that as well, which was all home cooked sort of hoppers, nice fruit. It was really nice and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think the experience is great as well because you get a knowledgeable guide, and Oz said that he'd been doing it for sort of like 16 years.
Yeah.
They know all the places that the animals, like different animals, usually hang out.
If you want to know anything about wildlife, anything about animal, birds, flora, you can ask.
I think if you're on a tighter budget or you don't want to spend the $50, if you're not so bothered about seeing leopards, for example, you know, Udawalawe National Park is, I think, half the price, and you can see, you know, there's a lot more elephants there, for example. And then also there's other national parks that are cheaper that our guide said. He said that there's one that's like $10 and you kind of just go in and you can get a quick tour around. There's not so many people. So yeah, I would definitely shop around, see what you want out of the safari, because Yala was great for us because we wanted to see the leopards, and it was also an easy route for us to get down to the south.
Yeah, I do think if you are going with the hopes of seeing the leopard, you will most likely be disappointed. I think you've got to go with no expectation of seeing it. It is a safari, and obviously it's not guaranteed to see all of the animals. Also, busyness wise, Yala is the most popular national park out of all of them in Sri Lanka, so go knowing that information. We were lucky because obviously tourism here isn't at full peak again, so it was probably quieter than what it would be usually.
If there was like a sighting of like an elephant or like a cool animal, that people wanted to see. There was maybe sort of like 2 or 3 jeeps that turned up. I'd imagine if there was a leopard, there might be sort of like 10 or so jeeps all around. With one of these things, obviously you can't do a completely natural experience in the wild with these animals just because it's not, you know, it's not safe to be walking around and stuff. So it's just one of those things. You will sort of might feel like you're in kind of like a zoo type environment, if you like, with people all around and in the trucks and stuff, but that's sort of the only way that you're going to be able to experience these animals in their natural habitat. It's just something to sort of take into account with the experience, but that's something I've sort of felt. I didn't feel like it was a completely wild experience, if you like, but it can't be. For our safari, we stayed at La Safari Inn in just outside of Tissa. They were really great. The staff at work there was so lovely, especially the lady.
Yeah, she was so cute.
They cooked lovely food for us. The prices were good. And yeah,
they arranged it all as well.
Yeah, they arranged it all with the guys. All you needed to do was sort of just turn up in the morning, and so I would highly recommend staying with them if you're going to be doing a safari in Yala, because they were so good.
If you've liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and if you're interested in seeing what we get up to when we travel along the south coast of Sri Lanka, keep an eye out for our videos that will be coming soon.
As always, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye!